Good morning. We're very excited to have Governor Murphy, Congressman Frank Pallone, Mayor John Pallone, State Senator Vin Gopal, Secretary of State Tahisha Way, Assemblywoman Linda Carter, and all of you at our West End Arts Center on this auspicious occasion. This is one of our two homes, the other being our main stage theater that's located just 5 minutes from here. I'm Gabe Barabbas and the producer of New Jersey Rep, and I have the privilege of welcoming you. Like all theaters, we were forced to close our doors over a year ago because of the pandemic. And like all businesses, came to realize that the longer the shutdown persisted, the greater the risk to the stability and perhaps survival of our organization. We were forced to close abruptly in the middle of a production, and the set for the play still stands on our abandoned and darkened stage waiting to come to life again and the return of our audiences. What we could not anticipate is the tremendous support we have received from Governor Murphy's initiatives through the New Jersey State Council on the Arts and the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, as well as Monmouth County Care's economic assistance programs through the Board of Chosen Freeholders. These have all provided emergency funds to us and many other arts and cultural organizations throughout the state and have been critical to our survival. In our case, the funds have enabled us to retain employees, launch virtual programs, stay connected, and modify and upgrade our HVAC and filtration systems and actually convert to touchless fixtures our restrooms, all with the goal of creating a safer environment for our audiences upon their return. We're planning to reopen in September with both outdoor and indoor productions and with exciting new plays, art and photography exhibits, poetry and musical events, and arts education programs for both adults and children. Once again, thank you all so much for coming, and I invite you to return hopefully soon to New Jersey Rep, to Long Branch, and to our wonderful Jersey Shore. Without further ado, I introduce our Governor, Phil Murphy.
Thank you. I'm going to take my mask off just while I speak here, if that's okay. Gabe, thank you for that. It's good to be back. And I'm glad this bill signing was an impetus, as you said, to sort of dust the place off, because you've been virtual now for going on 13 months. And what a treat. Now, I live on the shore, but what a treat to start the day as an official matter on the shore. And again, thank you, Gabe, for your leadership and your very gracious introduction. And thank you as well for your commitment to the New Jersey Repertory Theater, which has made the West End Arts Center not only a point of pride for Long Branch and Monmouth County, but also a home for the next generation of Jersey performers and creators. And I must acknowledge the theater co-founder and artistic director by your side, Suzanne Barabbas, and production manager, Jessica Parks. Also honored to be here with my congressman, not just any congressman, and Chairman Frank Pallone. And I don't think it's an understatement to say that I don't know where our state would be without his tireless advocacy in Washington. And I will make some news, Frank, that you mentioned, Gabe, that you're going to be back on stage in September, and Frank's agreed to play the ingenue in a revival of No No Nanette in September. So, Frank, I think you're going to be, I've been in that show, you're going to love that. With us today, as well as Secretary of State and my colleague Tahisha Way. Tahisha, great to be with you, under whose leadership the New Jersey State Council on the Arts and so many of our state's other cultural gems have really shined. Also, it takes a village, so we're here today not just by actions that I'm taking or that Frank has taken to secure federal money, but we're here with some outstanding legislators, because without them, I wouldn't be signing a bill in a few minutes. And I want to thank explicitly Senator Vin Gopal. Vin, is always great to be with you. Assembly members, Joanne Downey is with us. Linda Carter is in the house. Is Eric here yet? I don't see Eric Hotaling, but I want to give Eric a shout out as well. We're also joined I've lost him, the Chief Executive Officer of the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, Tim Sullivan, Kevin O'Brien from the New Jersey State Council on the Arts, Anne Marie Miller from the Art Pride New Jersey Foundation. And finally, I want to thank one of the great mayors, I've lost John, one of the great mayors in our state, Long Branch Mayor John Pallone, for welcoming us to Long Branch and for your partnership in and support of our efforts to protect and preserve New Jersey's vibrant downtowns and the arts and cultural scenes they foster. Long Branch is one of the quintessential great New Jersey communities, and I'm thrilled to be back here. So ever since the pandemic took hold of our state, as I mentioned about 13 months ago, our efforts have been focused on two areas. First, and most importantly, to save every life we could and to protect our residents and communities from a deadly virus. And to do that required us to make some very hard choices that we knew would directly impact not only our downtown economies broadly, but our arts communities and cultural institutions specifically. And so second, we knew we had to stand up programs that would help keep the future of the arts in New Jersey bright, even if our stages, as you rightfully point out, went dark. So between Tim and team at the EDA and the Arts Council, I count, folks, that you're almost, I think, 1,400 grants combined into the arts community. And all of them have been made possible, and this is an important point for you, Frank, through the federal pandemic relief funds that the congressman and his colleagues were able to secure for our state. I'm frankly not sure that any other state in America has put more money per capita, if you will, into arts than New Jersey. And so thank you for securing it, and thank you, folks, for deploying it. And today we give these efforts, which have been outstanding, the permanence of law through the efforts of Senator Gopal, Assemblywoman Carter, Assemblywoman Downey, and Assemblyman Hotaling, among others. These efforts will now be written into state law with an additional $15 million in assistance flowing directly to our arts community, half of it through the EDA and half of it through the New Jersey Council on the Arts. This is an extraordinary example of the partnership forged over the past year to secure our post-pandemic future. Perhaps at no other time in our recent history have we needed the arts more than we do now. The arts aren't just, although they are, a few hours of much-needed escape. The arts have always been where we've turned to help us put the challenges of the world into a greater context, whether it be a play or an exhibit. The arts reflect the human condition. The arts also are a tremendous economic driver for our downtowns, whether it be the benefits that flow into a community, Long Branch or elsewhere, from patrons dining and shopping downtown prior to or after seeing a show, hearing a concert, or viewing an exhibit, perhaps a late-night nightcap. I wouldn't know what that is, but that was also part of the magic. We could not allow the pandemic to dim or quiet the creativity of New Jersey. We could not allow the broad benefits that the arts provide, educationally, culturally, economically, to be lost. I'm incredibly honored to sign this bill today, but I'll be even happier when I see the lights shining bright here at the West End Arts Center and countless other theaters and institutions because of all we have done together. Thank you so much, folks, and thank you for graciously hosting me for a return visit. Frank, you and I were here, it feels like 20 years ago, but it's great to be back. And with that, again, I want to introduce my congressman, a guy, the chairman, a guy I don't know where we would be in New Jersey without him. Please help me welcome Long Branch's own Frank Pallone.
Thank you, Governor. I want to say something about the governor and then about Gabe and the Arts Center. First of all, and I'm not exaggerating this, many of you know that my committee, one of our major focuses is healthcare, which we're not discussing today per se. But believe me when I say this, and I know you're going to say, well, you're saying it because you know him and he's your friend and it's New Jersey, but no governor has done a better job of crushing this pandemic, and I know it's not crushed yet, but getting out, whether it was the supplies, it's a year now, right? And we remember what it was like a year ago when we had people in hospitals and we didn't have enough ventilators, and we were looking for testing supplies and all that. Nobody did a better job, without much help, in my opinion, from the federal government. I'm not going to be too critical of the previous president today because this isn't the occasion. But without much federal help in making sure that the people who were suffering from a coronavirus were helped as much as possible, then Governor Murphy. And you can ask anybody in Washington and they'll say the same thing. And that continues, right? I mean, the vaccination rate, the help that has been given to our community health centers and to our towns to do the vaccination and continue with the testing is all under his aegis. And if it was only for that alone, and I know we're not here talking about elections, but if it was only for that alone, he should be reelected, not even mentioning the arts. But I will mention the arts because that's why we're here today. And he and the First Lady, Tammy, have been outstanding spokespeople for the arts, along with our state legislators. I have to mention, Linda, I apologize, I have to mention my local guys because they do so much here. Bingo, Paul, Joanne, I think that Eric, I don't know if he's here yet, always trying to do whatever they can to promote the arts, right? What you did with the movies and bringing back the tax credits and all that kind of thing. I mean, it's endless, and we really appreciate it. Now, as far as the Western Arts Center and the Gabors are concerned, the Barabbas are concerned, and Gabe and his wife, this place is so important to this community. It has helped revive the arts in this community. You don't even realize today, but even though it's been closed for a year, they've had all kinds of virtual programming. And what a lot of people don't realize is that this is all original stuff, right? I haven't mentioned that because people don't realize it. I did actually go to the revival of No, No, Nanette with my mother, now that you mentioned it. But that was a revival, right? I don't know when the original was, but the 20s? Okay. But Gabe, this is all original, right? So when he has his performances at the New Jersey Repertory on Broadway, or he has his one-act plays here, these are all the first time. These are world premieres. These things have never been seen before. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. And then they have the gallery, which some of the works have been brought here today. So, and they need the help. They clearly need this type of help that the governor and the state legislature are talking about today. So this is really wonderful. And the only thing I wanted to say, if I could, because one of your assistants mentioned it to me today. The governor's obviously talking about the bill that he's about to sign. But I did want to mention, and one of your assistants here, I apologize, reminded me today that when we passed the omnibus, the end of the year package, and we had the Save Our Stages Act, which authorizes money specifically for live performances, that money is actually available today. It's been announced that today, with the SBA, you can go to sba.gov, and that's going to be available today too. In addition to that, in our annual budget, we're in the fiscal year now, we increased funding for the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Endowment for Humanities by $5 million each to $167.5 million for this next fiscal year. And in the American Rescue Plan, which the president signed a few weeks ago, includes an additional $135 million for the National Endowment for the Arts, and 40% of that has to be directed to regional arts organizations and state art agencies like the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. So not only are we trying to provide more funding as we proceed, specifically for live stages, but we also are making sure that this is given out regionally, right? So it's not just, I don't want to be difficult, but it's not just the Metropolitan Opera, it's not just the Los Angeles Symphony. I don't even know if there is one, but it's also for regional and local places like the Western Arts Center. So with that, I have to. Where is she? Where's Tahisha? Oh, right here. Tahisha is the Secretary of State, which deals with the arts, obviously, the organization at the state level. But she's following me. But I have to say, and you know this, Governor, because you were so much involved with it, she did more to help us with the census, because that also comes under her aegis. The governor put in additional money so that we could do more in our state to get our numbers up. And it was very successful, Tahisha, when I look at the results in terms of, what kind of numbers we got for New Jersey, that we covered people that, in underserved communities that wouldn't have been covered. And this is important for the arts too, because remember that when you look at these federal formulas that we're talking about, the decision about how much money we get depends on the number of people that you have. So this also relates. So with that, so glad to see you here today in Long Branch.
Thank you. It's a beautiful morning. And Congressman, I just want to shout you out because you mentioned the census and it's important to our businesses. And you definitely was a beacon, a leader in our effort in partnering to ensure that we got out the count. So thank you for all you do. So as Secretary of State, I am so honored to lead a department that includes the New Jersey Council on the Arts. And on behalf of the Council and the Department of State, I want to thank the one and only Governor Phil Murphy and the legislature for recognizing that the arts are critical to the health of our people, communities, and economic vitality. And this funding could not have come at a more urgent time. I would also want to acknowledge, as the governor has, the council's second vice chair, Kevin O'Brien, additionally, Chair Mattson, the entire board, my colleague, Arts Director Allison Tratner, and her staff, who have been working diligently around the clock to build responsive funding programs that make all the difference for New Jerseyans. And of course, the team at EDA, led by Tim Sullivan, thank you for your partnership as we work to get this funding out the door. Finally, I have to recognize our host, the New Jersey Repertory Company, which has received Arts Council fundings, to my understanding, as a grantee for as many as 20 years. When this pandemic reached our shores last year, you closed the West End Center, but creatively launched a virtual cultural arts center to continue supporting meaningful community connections throughout arts. As you work to resume more normal operations, we are proud that the Council has been able to provide federal and state grant funds in support of your recovery. Thank you for all you have done. New Jersey's arts organizations employ thousands of artists and industry professionals while strengthening the quality of life within our communities. Just in 2019, the arts industry was responsible for the creation of approximately 80,000 jobs here. Moreover, New Jersey's artists and arts organizations are diverse, innovative, well-networked, and resilient, but they have weathered revenue losses in the hundreds of millions due to the pandemic-related closures, cancellations, refunds, and more. Tens of thousands of artists and arts sector workers are now unemployed or underemployed. Yet, at the same time, artists and their work have been integral for many of us as we cope with the upheaval of living through this ongoing public health crisis. Art has helped many mentally, emotionally, and this legislation will help New Jersey's artists and arts organizations get the financial support they need to rise and thrive as we begin to move beyond the pandemic. And as we make these solid investments, arts organizations will have the needed resources to bring back staff, hire crews, support new artists, host shows and performances, expand programming and events, all the while prioritizing the health and safety of workers and guests. These dollars will preserve treasured community anchors for current and future generations to enjoy. Moreover, the arts help foster dialogue and unity. It creates greater empathy across people of different backgrounds and provides an avenue for creative learning and healing. Thus, this funding can help invest in a comprehensive and equitable recovery that is inclusive of artists and art organizations that reflect the rich diversity of this great state. Everyone, we've heard it said many times that artists and arts organizations give people hope. And as we inch closer to what feels like the light at the end of the tunnel, these dollars will help ensure the treasured creative sectors that shape our great state are alive and well to welcome us back in. And thank goodness for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tahisha. You know, one of the things, if you haven't looked at the members of the New Jersey Hall of Fame in a while, check that list out and check out in the arts and letters. It's an extraordinary group, and that's another point that has to be made. This state punches way above its weight, way above its weight in terms of the artists that we produce, performance or other artists, and that's a badge of honor that we all wear. Tahisha, thank you so much for that. I mentioned earlier it takes a village, extraordinary legislators spearheading, sponsoring this bill, and so many other arenas. Would love to hear from one member from each of the chambers. First up to bat, a guy we know well, another fellow Monmouth County guy and a great leader, Senator Vin Gopal.
Thank you, Governor. This is really, it's funny listening to Congressman Pallone saying that you guys came together, because I think the day after I won Mayor Pallone, he wasn't mayor yet, he's like, I need to bring you over to this theater on the West End. So it's the Pallones, I think, dedication to Long Branch that speaks volumes of Dr. Gabe and everything that you guys have done here, what you're doing in the schools, all you're doing in arts. To echo what Congressman Pallone said, this governor has really been extraordinary when it has come to supporting the arts. It's not just the film tax credit, with all respect to here, but it's Count Basie, Two River, Phoenix, all the theaters that we've seen the governor and First Lady go out of their way to support during this pandemic. The New Jersey Hall of Fame, the funding they put in each and every year, it really is extraordinary. So this funding is going to help not just here in when we think about the theater, but all of these restaurants up and down Brighton Ave and all across, people that are coming into town, people coming across the state that are coming into Long Branch and Red Bank and Asbury Park that are going to spend the night, spend dollars here. It has a huge economic impact. I want to give special thanks to the head of the EDA, Tim Sullivan, who I have to say, Governor, he has just gone above and beyond. I'm sure he regrets looking at my own, where Tim went, but he probably regrets looking at my number. But every time we reach out to him or his office, Ty and everybody there, they have gone above and beyond. And when they administer these grants, there's so much confidence that it's going to the right people because they do the due diligence. We saw what they've done with the restaurant grants. So thank you, Tim, for everything you and your team has done. And to the Secretary of State, thank you for all that you continue to do, as the Congressman said, on the census. And to my running mates, Assemblyman Eric O'Talling, who is one of the prime sponsors, wanted to be here today, but is away out of state to see family, otherwise would have been here. Assemblywoman Joanne Downey, and special thanks to Senator Joe Lagana, Senator Dawn Adiego, both the two prime sponsors, and Assemblywoman Linda Carter, everyone who worked hard to make sure that New Jersey continues to lead the way on funding the arts. So thank you, Governor, for what you're doing today. God bless.
Deep appreciation for not just your words, but your leadership in a big way. Speaking on behalf of the members of the General Assembly, again, cannot thank them enough for their leadership on this and so many other matters. Please help me welcome Assemblywoman Linda Carter. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congressman, I'm going to tell you, used to be mine, okay? Got a little district out, but it's okay, and everything, but thank you. Secretary of State Taoiseach Wade, I'm going to tell you, this is amazing. When we look at what this pandemic has done and has crippled so many things around our state, and Governor, that's why I'm so proud to stand here and stand with you as we've gone through this and as we continue to come out of this, because you truly have championed so many and looked at not just certain areas, but you looked at all areas. And this is one. The arts are something that are special to so many of us. And I can tell you this, and I'm actually going to ask, you know, with social distancing going on, but I'm going to ask my colleague, Joanne Downey, to come on up here and stand with me, because it's important. It takes a village, it takes a team, and it takes all of us to be able to do this. But when we look at this, we're able to help some of those small individuals, and not saying that like they're meaningless, but those small fractions in our world that really make a huge impact and a huge difference. As an educator, I understand what the arts do. I understand how it helps our youth and how it really allows them to grow and to become their own and with a way to express themselves. And this truly is a way, and I'm thankful that we have found a way to really come together and to help revive it and give those grants where it necessarily is needed. Joanne?
Thank you so much, my colleague. You're amazing. Thank you. So, no, Linda's amazing. Since the first time I met her, I just have to say this really quickly. It was before anything amazing ever happened. This was before she became an assemblywoman. And she was always a leader and always someone very supportive, especially of women and young women. And I want to thank her for all she's done so far and being a wonderful colleague and friend in the Assembly. I'm so proud of everybody. This is amazing. Thank you to Senator Vin Gopal. Thank you to Congressman Pallone. Thank you to everyone here, Taoiseach Wade, our Secretary of State. Tim, thank you from the EDA. Thank you for all of what you've done. The governor, thank you. Because we have all suffered so much during the pandemic, and I just want to say, I know that what you said, Taoiseach, about the healing, that's what this is going to do. So it's been dark for so long, and you're going to bring on the lights. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joanne, and thank you, Linda. With that, let's get down to business and sign the bill. Gabe, is that good? Sam, you guys? All right, let's go. We're going to do this in a COVID-friendly. That didn't come out right, I don't think. We're not trying to do COVID. Under pandemic protocols. So, Councilman Max Danishi to my right and colleague will sanitize each of the pens and walk them over to you, as opposed to doing the normal tight-in shot here. What do you think? Close. Yeah, I was just asking Tim. I'm going to go back to the podium for this. We're not here to talk about COVID-19, but it is notable. Do you think it'll be today or tomorrow? Later today, early tomorrow. Yeah, either later today or early tomorrow. We're going to cross 5 million shots in arms. Starting on December 15th with one, we're up now to 5 million, and Tim is helping run that. So that's awesome. This is Senate Bill 3521. As Vin mentioned, you've got Joe Lagana, Don Adiego, Vin himself, and Linda Carter, Erica Taylor, Angela McKnight in the Assembly. And the synopsis, which I always read, makes $15 million in federal funds available to the EDA and the New Jersey Council on the Arts to support arts and cultural organizations in need. That says it all. One quick money shot, and then I'll get down to business. I can't see a darn thing, but I'll pretend as though I can. Okay, we got that out of the way. Back to the protocols. Today's the 8th, right? Okay. First up, Gabe, to you, man. God bless. We'll bring it to you. Matt, out of that to you. Let's hear it for Gabe Barrett. My Congress, the chairman, Frank Pallone. Senator Vin Gopal. Assemblywoman Linda Carter. Assemblywoman Joanne Downey. And we will get this to Eric in absentia. As Ben mentioned, he's traveling, which I would go down. Assemblyman in absentia. Let's hear it for Eric Lieutenant.